Did you know that 70% of change initiatives fail? That's right. Nearly 7 out of 10 efforts to transform a company, improve culture, or introduce new processes come to a halt. And it's not just about having a good plan. It's about making sure your team embraces that change. Leaders who fail to bring their people on board are often left with frustrated employees and stalled progress. Here's the shocking truth. The biggest obstacle to change isn't a strategy, it's the people. Change is hard. It shakes up routines, challenges beliefs, and creates fear. But it doesn't have to be this way. As a leader, you can make change easier for your team by tapping into proven strategies and mindsets that guide people through uncertainty and resistance. In this video, we'll explore how to break down those barriers, turn your team into champions of change, and make sure that what you start will actually stick. Whether you're a new leader or experienced, these techniques will help you lead with confidence and bring your team along every step of the way. Ready to discover the secrets to making change feel natural instead of chaotic? Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Psychology of Resistance. Breaking down barriers as a leader, it's crucial to understand why people resist change. The human brain is naturally wired to avoid discomfort, and change often represents that discomfort. Studies show that 70% of change initiatives fail because people simply aren't on board. Harvard Business Review. They might not resist you as a leader, but they resist the unknown. One strategy to break through resistance is to focus on trust. Trust is the foundation of any successful leadership journey. According to the Journal of Organizational Behavior, teams with high levels of trust are 50% more likely to achieve their goals. You need to be transparent about why the change is happening and how it benefits everyone. Another key tactic is to involve people early. Instead of dictating change, invite feedback and let your team shape the process. The more ownership people feel, the less they'll resist. A study by Gallup found that employees who feel involved in decision-making are 17% more engaged. Furthermore, emotional reactions can play a huge role. Change can trigger fear, anxiety, and a sense of loss. Leaders need to address these emotions head-on by being empathetic and patient. This doesn't mean giving in to fear, but acknowledging it and helping people process it. Finally, reduce uncertainty. People resist what they don't understand. When possible, break down the change into smaller, manageable pieces. This makes the transition feel less like a giant leap and more like a series of small steps, each leading to success. Chapter 2. Change Whisperers. Speaking to hearts, not just minds. Change is not just about logic, it's about emotion. Great leaders understand that to inspire true change, you must connect with people on a deeper level. According to a Deloitte study, 85% of employees said they are more likely to engage with a leader who shows emotional intelligence. One powerful technique is storytelling. Storytelling isn't just for marketers, it's for leaders too. By telling stories about past successes, challenges, or future goals, you create a vision people can rally behind. Leaders like Steve Jobs didn't just sell products, they sold dreams. They tapped into people's hopes and aspirations. You also need to appeal to people's sense of purpose. In fact, research from Gallup shows that employees who feel their work has meaning are 27% more likely to be productive. Share the why behind the change and explain how it aligns with the team's mission. When people see their personal values reflected in the organization's vision, change becomes easier to embrace. A less common but effective strategy is using positive reinforcement. Instead of focusing on what's going wrong during the change process, emphasize progress. Recognize small wins and celebrate these victories publicly. This creates a culture of positivity, where people feel proud of their contributions. And don't forget to listen. Sometimes the best way to lead people through change is simply to hear them out. According to Forbes, leaders who actively listen to their teams have higher employee satisfaction and retention rates. People want to know their voices matter in the process. Chapter 3. Momentum Makers. Building small wins that snowball. One of the most effective ways to make change feel easier is to build momentum. People are more likely to stick with a change if they see progress. And the best way to do that is through small wins. These are manageable, bite-sized victories that push the needle just enough to show progress. Research supports this. The Harvard Business Review suggests that making small, incremental improvements leads to greater long-term success. When people experience early wins, they're more motivated to continue pushing forward. It's like climbing a staircase. Each step builds confidence and leads to the next. As a leader, it's your job to identify those small wins and highlight them. This could be as simple as acknowledging someone's effort or celebrating a team milestone. Recognizing progress, even in tiny steps, creates a snowball effect. Once people see results, they're more likely to stay engaged in the process. Another strategy is to break larger goals into smaller tasks. Research from McKinsey shows that large, complex tasks can overwhelm teams and hinder progress. By dividing those tasks into smaller, actionable steps, you reduce the pressure and help people focus on what's achievable right now. Celebrate these wins with your team. Acknowledging success builds a sense of community. This isn't about patting everyone on the back unnecessarily, but about showing how everyone's effort matters. When people see their contributions making a difference, they're more likely to invest in the change. Small wins also help build the habit of change. As the famous motivational speaker, Tony Robbins, says, success is the result of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. In this case, these small wins become habits that eventually lead to greater organizational transformation. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date with more leadership tips that will help you lead your team to success. Chapter 4. Adaptive Leadership. Embracing chaos like a pro in today's world, change is the only constant. As a leader, you have to adapt not just to changes in your organization, but to unexpected disruptions. When the world feels chaotic, your leadership needs to stay calm and focused. That's the essence of adaptive leadership. Adaptive leadership is all about being flexible and resilient. Research from the Center for Creative Leadership shows that adaptive leaders are 60% more likely to successfully lead their teams through change. This is because they embrace the unpredictability of change and use it to their advantage. They don't fear the unknown, they turn it into an opportunity. A great strategy is to foster a mindset of continuous learning. Encourage your team to see challenges as learning opportunities. Carol Dweck, in her book Mindset, calls this a growth mindset. Instead of getting stuck on failures, embrace them as part of the process. A culture that values learning builds resilience in the face of uncertainty. One unique tip is to anticipate change before it happens. Stay ahead by monitoring industry trends and understanding shifts in your market. A McKinsey report found that organizations that can anticipate change are 3 times more likely to outperform competitors. Being proactive rather than reactive allows you to guide your team through transitions with ease. It's also important to encourage experimentation. Sometimes, the best way to adapt to change is by trying new approaches. Allow your team to test different solutions, even if they might fail. Failure isn't the end, it's just another step toward success. This mindset helps reduce fear and fosters innovation. Lastly, keep communication open and honest. When things are uncertain, your team needs reassurance. According to Gallup, clear and consistent communication increases employee engagement by 30%. If your team feels in the loop, They're more likely to trust your leadership, even during chaotic times. Chapter 5. The Catalyst Factor. Turning your team into change champions. One of the most powerful ways to make change easier is to empower your team to drive it. Rather than just leading from the front, inspire your team to become change champions. These are the individuals who embrace change early and help influence their peers. Research by Deloitte shows that employees who feel they have ownership in change are 50% more likely to adopt it. But how do you create these champions? Start by identifying potential leaders within your team. Look for those who naturally encourage others, who are respected by their peers, and who have a positive outlook. Once you've identified these individuals, involve them in the decision-making process. Give them a seat at the table when discussing new changes. When people are included, they feel more invested in the outcome. According to Gallup, employees who have a voice in decisions are 4.6 times more likely to be engaged. Another effective strategy is to provide your change champions with resources and training. Equip them with the tools they need to succeed in guiding others through change. Research from the Project Management Institute shows that teams with well-trained leaders are 67% more likely to see a project succeed. Encourage these change champions to share their experiences with others. People are more likely to embrace change when they hear about it from someone they trust. Personal stories are much more impactful than top-down directives. Let your champions be the ones to spread the word and motivate their peers. Recognize and reward their efforts. People who drive change should feel appreciated. Harvard Business Review reports that 79% of employees say they would work harder if they were better recognized. By celebrating your change champions, you reinforce the behaviors you want to see across your team. Don't forget to subscribe for more leadership tips and strategies that will help you lead your team through every challenge with confidence.